stipulating that people like James Robbins, House idiot of the Washington Times, whose immediate reaction to the raid at Abbottabad was titled, "No Class, Obama Snubs Bush, Praises Himself on Bin Laden Takedown," noting that people like that are in a no class by themselves. Here are the other worst persons of the day for May 3rd. The Bronze, the great flaming fraud that is Andrew Breitbart, having slandered a woman named Shirley Sherrod last summer in his way that may reflect intellectual and moral bankruptcy or stupidity, but probably reflects both. Breitbart has now addressed the question of whether he should have mercilessly attacked her on a charge of reverse racism based on just excerpts of a videotape of a speech she had given, or if maybe, before he stuffed the doctored footage into the Republican cult machine, he should have looked at the entire tape just to make sure Ms. Sherrod was not telling a story of how she had prevented herself from acting that way. Breitbart finally told Newsweek that if he'd had a second chance, he would have waited to see the full version of Sherrod's speech to the NAACP. But now he has qualified that qualified admission of his failure of honesty and decency. He told the Los Angeles Times over the weekend last that he still mildly agrees with what he said. "I guess I should have looked at it." In backing away from his one brief honest burst and bout with conscience, Mr. Breitbart has just admitted something more important about himself. All he is qualified to do journalistically in any area more challenging than a paper route, all he is capable of doing in any public venue more important than a hot dog stand, is to guess. Runner-up Sally Kern, the infamous Oklahoma state representative who introduced the bill making Sharia law illegal in that state, as if there was any chance of it becoming legal, or as if she knew what Sharia law really was. Ms. Kern has now issued a fabulous non-apology apology, claiming both that she is humbly apologizing and that she merely misspoke when she argued for the elimination of affirmative action in Oklahoma. See if you can find the misspeak in here. If it exists, it is buried in the racism and the condescension. We have a high percentage of blacks in prison, and that's tragic. But are they in prison just because they are black, or because they don't want to study as hard in school? Wait, it gets worse. I've taught school, and I saw a lot of people of color who didn't study hard because they said the government would take care of them. I don't know which is more horrific here, practically speaking, that there could be someone with that much stupidity, prejudice, and hate in them in the state government in Oklahoma, or that she used to teach school. But our winner, Michelle Bachmann, Congresswoman from Minnesota, and in a lean year, possible candidate for the Republican nomination for president. Ms. Bachmann just disqualified herself. Again. Last weekend, in one of those campaign stops in New Hampshire, she compared high taxes to the Holocaust. Seriously. Making the "are you stoned" claim that those entering the workforce now will see 75% of their career earnings go to Medicare, Social Security, and other taxes, Congresswoman Bachmann asked, quote, "What will you say to that next generation about what you did to make sure that wouldn't be their fate?" She added that today we are, quote, "watching quite literally our economic liberty pulled out from under us." Thus will our children ask us how we let it happen. As Ms. Bachmann claims, she asked her mother why her mother didn't do anything to stop the Holocaust. "I tell you this story because I think in our day and time there is no analogy to that horrific action," she continued, and then made an analogy to that horrific action, "but only to say we're seeing eclipsed in front of our eyes a similar death and a similar taking away." No, we're not. Even if the hallucinatory paranoia you're experiencing were true representations and not veritable insults, considering that tax-wise, this is the time to be well off. Even if she wasn't crazy and this was really happening, taxes are not a similar death and a similar taking away to the slaughter of 6 million people. Not at all. Not close. Some advice, Congresswoman. Next time you want to give a speech, do it in mime. Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota, the worst person of the day.